Hey there, I'm Olivia, a 28-year-old marketing executive who thought I had my life all planned out. Everything seemed perfect, especially on the night of my engagement party. I was ecstatic, surrounded by friends, family, and of course, my fiancé Marcus. My parents' house was decked out like something straight out of a fairy tale. I was in my room, putting the final touches on my makeup when my Aunt Karen burst in. "Oh, sweetie, you look stunning," she exclaimed, enveloping me in a hug. "I can't believe my little niece is all grown up and getting married." I laughed, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. "Thanks, Aunt Karen. I'm so glad you're here to help. You've always been like a second mom to me." As she helped me clasp my necklace, her hands trembled slightly. "Are you sure about this, Olivia? Marriage is a big step." I brushed off her concern. "Aunt Karen, we've talked about this. Marcus is amazing and I love him. You'll see how perfect we are together tonight." She nodded, but I could see the doubt in her eyes. I chose to ignore it, assuming she was just being overprotective. As guests started arriving, I moved around, greeting everyone with a huge smile. My best friend and maid of honor, Samantha, pulled me aside. "Girl, you're glowing. But what's up with your aunt? She's been giving Marcus the stink eye all night." I sighed. "You know how she is. She'll come around once she gets to know him better." Just then, Marcus appeared, looking dashing in his suit. "There's my beautiful fiancé," he said, pulling me close. "Your aunt cornered me earlier. I think she was trying to grill me about my intentions or something." I rolled my eyes. "I'm sorry, babe. She means well, I promise." The party was in full swing when Marcus's phone buzzed. "Sorry, I have to take this. It's work," he whispered, stepping out onto the side porch. I mingled with the guests. After about 10 minutes, I started to worry. Where was he? Suddenly, I heard a commotion from the front of the house. My heart dropped as I saw flashing lights through the windows. What the hell was going on? I rushed to the front door and froze. Marcus was on the ground, his hands behind his back, 2 police officers standing over him. My Aunt Karen was pointing at him, her finger trembling. "That's him, officers. I saw him sneaking around the side of the house." I couldn't believe my eyes. "Aunt Karen, what are you doing?" "That's Marcus, my fiancé." The confusion on her face quickly turned to horror as she realized her mistake. But the damage was already done. Our perfect engagement party had turned into a complete disaster. And as I looked at Marcus's humiliated face, I couldn't help but wonder if we ever recover from this. Little did I know, this was only the beginning of a series of events that would turn my life upside down and make me question everything I thought I knew about family, love, and trust. As I stood there, watching the police officers roughly handle Marcus, I felt like I was trapped in a twisted nightmare. My voice was hoarse from yelling explanations, but it seemed like no one was listening. "Please, officers, this is all a huge misunderstanding," I pleaded, tears streaming down my face. "That's my fiancé, Marcus. We're having our engagement party right now." One of the officers finally turned to me, his expression serious. "Ma'am, we received a call about an intruder. We have to follow protocol." I spun around to face Aunt Karen, who was swaying slightly, a half-empty wine glass in her hand. "Aunt Karen, how could you do this? You've met Marcus dozens of times." She hiccupped, her eyes unfocused. I thought I saw someone sneaking around. I was just trying to protect you, Olivia." By now, all our guests had gathered around, whispering and staring. I could see the shock and embarrassment on Marcus's face as he sat, handcuffed on the ground. This was supposed to be our special night, and now it was ruined. After what felt like an eternity, the situation was finally cleared up. The officers removed Marcus's handcuffs and apologized for the misunderstanding. But the damage was done. Our perfect evening was shattered. As the last of the guests awkwardly said their goodbyes, I approached Aunt Karen, expecting a heartfelt apology. Instead, she just patted my arm and slurred, "Well, that was exciting, wasn't it? These things happen, dear. No harm done." Before I could respond, Samantha pulled me aside. Her eyes narrowed as she watched Aunt Karen stumble towards the kitchen. "Liv, I don't want to add fuel to the fire, but don't you think this is a bit strange? Your aunt's known Marcus for ages, and she doesn't seem nearly as drunk as she's acting." I shook my head, not wanting to consider the implications. "Sam, please, she made a mistake. A horrible, embarrassing mistake, but still. I don't know, Liv. Something doesn't add up here." As the night wound down, I found Marcus sitting alone on the porch swing, his shoulders slumped, staring out into the darkness. Marcus, baby, I'm so sorry. I can't believe this happened. He sighed heavily. It's not your fault, Olivia. But I can't help feeling like your family doesn't want me here. Maybe we should rethink this whole engagement thing. His words hit me like a punch to the gut. No, Marcus, please don't let one awful night ruin everything we have. Before he could respond, I heard voices coming from inside. I recognized my mom and Aunt Karen, and something in their tone made me pause. Telling Marcus I'd be right back, I crept closer to the window, my heart pounding. I can't believe you did that, Karen, my mom was saying, her voice low and furious. You've always made it clear you don't approve of Marcus, but this is a new low. Aunt Karen's reply made my blood run cold. Oh, come on, Sarah. You know as well as I do that Olivia's making a huge mistake. That boy isn't good enough for her. I was just trying to open her eyes before it's too late. I stumbled back, my mind reeling. All this time, I thought Aunt Karen was just being overprotective. But this was something else entirely. As I turned to go back to Marcus, I realized that my engagement party wasn't the only thing shattered tonight. My trust in the woman I had always seen as a second mother lay in pieces at my feet. The days following the engagement party disaster were a blur of awkward phone calls and strained conversations. Marcus was pulling away, and I felt like I was losing him. I couldn't shake what I had overheard between my mom and Aunt Karen. I called Samantha, desperate for a sympathetic ear. Sam, I think you were right. There's something off about Aunt Karen's behavior. I'm coming over. We need to talk. An hour later, we were huddled over my laptop, digging through old emails and social media posts. What we found made my stomach churn. Look at this, Samantha pointed to an old Facebook message. Remember Jake from college? Karen told him you were going through some things and to stay away. I felt sick. I'd always wondered why he stopped calling. We uncovered more. Subtle digs at Marcus in family group chats. Concerned emails to my parents about his career prospects. It was like seeing years of manipulation laid bare. Liv, there's something else, Samantha said hesitantly. I talked to the bartender at your party. Karen barely touched her drinks all night. She was faking being drunk. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. She planned all of it. The next day, I steeled myself and went to confront Aunt Karen. I found her in her garden, pruning roses like nothing was wrong. Aunt Karen, we need to talk about what happened at the party. She turned to me, all smiles. Oh, honey, let's not dwell on that unfortunate misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? You called the cops on my fiancé. Her smile faltered. I was just looking out for you. You know how men can be. Stop it, I snapped. I know you've been interfering in my relationships for years. You lied about being drunk. You've been spreading rumors about Marcus. Karen's face hardened. You ungrateful little brat. After everything I've done for you. Done for me, you've been trying to control my life. She laughed coldly. Control? I've been protecting you from your own bad decisions. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That wasn't your decision to make. You've been lying to me, manipulating me. I did what I had to do, she interrupted. You think you know what's best for you? You're still a child, Olivia. You need me. No, I said, my voice shaking. What I need is for you to stay out of my life. I'm done with your toxic behavior. Karen's eyes narrowed. You walk away from me and you'll regret it. Who do you think has been pulling strings at your company? One word from me and your perfect little career goes up in smoke. I felt like I'd been slapped. You're threatening me now, my aunt? I'm giving you a chance to see reason, she hissed. Break it off with Marcus. I'll find you a suitable match, someone who can take care of you properly. In that moment, I saw Aunt Karen for who she truly was, a manipulative, controlling woman who had been poisoning my life for years. We're done, I said, turning to leave. Don't contact me again. As I walked away, Karen called after me. You'll come crawling back, Olivia. You need me more than you know. I got into my car, my mind racing. There was a lot of damage to undo, starting with Marcus. I realized that confronting Aunt Karen wasn't the end of this nightmare. It was just the beginning of reclaiming my life. Determined to make things right, I drove straight to Marcus's apartment, my heart pounding the whole way. When he opened the door, I could see the pain in his eyes. Marcus, I'm so sorry. I had no idea how toxic Aunt Karen was. Can we talk? I asked, my voice trembling. He hesitated but finally stepped aside. letting me in. We talked for hours, clearing the air and sharing everything we discovered about Karen's manipulations. By the end, Marcus took my hand and said, "We're in this together." The next few weeks were a whirlwind. I called my parents and explained everything. They were shocked but supportive. "We had no idea Karen was capable of this," Mom said. "We're behind you, honey." As word spread about Karen's behavior, she tried to spin the narrative, calling relatives and crying about how I'd turned against her, but her lies fell flat. People started sharing their own stories of Karen's manipulation, and suddenly her web of deceit was unraveling. Samantha took charge of damage control, organizing a proper engagement party, this time without any unwanted drama. As Marcus and I stood surrounded by our true friends and family, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't experienced in years. To Olivia and Marcus, Samantha toasted, raising her glass. "May your love always be stronger than any obstacle." The cheers that followed warmed my heart. This was how it should have been all along. But Karen wasn't going down without a fight. She showed up at my office one day, causing a scene. "You ungrateful child. After everything I've done for you," she shouted. I stood my ground. "You've done nothing but tried to control me, Aunt Karen. It's over. Please leave." As security escorted her out, I noticed my coworkers watching. I braced for judgment, but instead received support. "We always thought your aunt was a bit intense," my boss said. "Good for you for standing up to her." Just when I thought things were settling down, the other shoe dropped. News broke that Karen had been embezzling funds from the family business for years. She was removed from the company and criminal charges were being considered. In the aftermath, Karen's carefully cultivated image crumbled. Friends distanced themselves, country club memberships were revoked, and suddenly, the woman who had tried to control everyone's lives found herself alone. Through it all, Marcus was my rock. We threw ourselves into wedding planning, and as the big day approached, I felt nothing but joy and excitement. Our wedding day dawned bright and beautiful. As I walked down the aisle, I saw Marcus beaming at me, surrounded by the people who genuinely loved and supported us. For a moment, I caught sight of a lone figure watching from afar. Aunt Karen, uninvited and isolated. I felt a twinge of sadness but pushed it aside. This was our day. "I do," I said, looking into Marcus's eyes. As we kissed, cheers erupted around us. This was the beginning of our new life together. Later, as we danced at the reception, Marcus whispered, "Ready for our honeymoon, Mrs. Taylor?" I grinned. "More than ready. Let's leave all this drama behind and start our adventure." As we drove off, I felt a sense of freedom I'd never known before. We were heading towards our future, stronger for what we'd overcome and ready to face whatever life threw our way, together. Now I have a question for you. If you discovered that a close family member had been sabotaging your relationships for years, could you ever forgive them? Or would you cut them out of your life completely? Share your thoughts in the comments below.